Right, let's take a look and see what we got here. Let's have a look at this jib. I still feel confident that I can straighten this out with a few hammer blows and a bit of twisting with the pliers. It feels quite robust. The only problem I've got with this is that although I bead blast my castings, I'm going to have to do some work on this because the corrosion is actually eating into the material, and even bead blasting that, I'm going to get a bit of a rough finish on that, so I'm going to have to rub that down, spend some time, bit of elbow grease. But yeah, I feel confident I can keep that. If not, I'll fabricate a new one up. This was pretty straightforward, not a lot to say about this really. Doesn't seem to be any damage. I'm going to put it underneath my magnifying lamp, see if there's anything twisted or anything. So that's okay. This is in rather a bad state. And is it supposed to have a windscreen in there originally? It's something I've overlooked, but I don't know. No. Well, where's that come from then? Because that's not broken. That must have come from something else. There's no way that fits in there. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, back to the body. I've got to check that, make sure that this cab hasn't bent, because it's a bit of a weak point across here, and when kids play with these they tend to push down on them and it can sort of bend in there. So what I'll probably do is take it into work and put it on a surface plate and see what it's looking like. That's the only way I can do it really, but it's not twisted, so that's a good thing. So yeah, I might have to tweak that a little bit. It might be leaning back a little bit too far. The axles, as I thought, were in a bad way. I mean, these wheels are actually loose on this axle, but this one here, this one here is seized up on the end. So again, it might be a case of replacing these with a larger diameter axle. Obviously drilling the wheels out, I might have to do that as well. We'll get to that bridge when we come to it. And here we have the chassis. I've straightened up these tabs for the time being, and yeah, that should clean up all right. It's badly corroded, but I think the bead blaster will sort that out. Right, 4 tyres, which I don't have a lot of hope for, but I'm going to try a little tip. So I'm hoping they'll come through the post. Yeah, I mean, they are reusable, but the trouble is when they were on that wheel they were very, very slack, almost as if they'd gone oversized. So that's what we've got. So I'm going to take this to work tomorrow and I shall bead blast the whole lot, and I shall come back with it all stripped back to bare metal, and then I will decide what I plan to do with the axles and this thing here. Yeah, right, well, let's quickly look at the results of the bead blasting. I'm really impressed by the fact that this is, what, 70 years old, this casting, and it's cleaned up a peach. It really has. I expected a load of corrosion on this where it was eating into the actual casting, and to be honest, there are a couple of areas, but they might even have been there when they left the factory. But this is all lovely and smooth. I was expecting to have to rub this down, but yeah, that cleaned up really, really nice, that body. I've tweaked the sides because they were kicking in a little bit, so I've got a pair of pliers and just tweaked them out. And that corner there was bent inwards a little bit as well, so again, a pair of pliers, tweaked it out, and it's all nice and straight. This I was surprised more than anything, because this looked really, really bad before I took the paint off of it, and I was expecting again for the corrosion to have eaten into it, but there's no sign of it. It's really lovely and smooth, and that will take a nice bit of paint, that will. So again, really, really happy with the way that that's turned out. We got the jib here, which again, I was expecting quite severe corrosion on it. There is a little bit running down there. Until I put a coat of primer on this, I'm not going to get an idea of how badly this is corroded. I might have to spray it, rub it down, spray it, and just persevere with it until I can get the worst of it out, and hopefully the what's left, the paint will cover up. But yeah, this is, again, it's cleaned up lovely. I mean, that looks like bad corrosion there, but you run your finger over it, it's nice and smooth, which is what I want. So I know that the paint's going to hide that. The axles here, which to be honest aren't in a great state. There's an area there, I don't know whether this has been dropped or it's been damaged through being play with, or whether it's left the factory like that, but there's areas like that where I'm gonna have to get me file out and clean them up, because they're not that great. See there, it's actually left a load of paint on there. Look, the bead blaster just couldn't get in there. There's a nasty burr running right the way around that, so I shall have to dress those wheels. That one's still seized on the shaft. Same with these, there's a little bit of damage there. and the other one, I think the other wheel's all right. Yeah, so I've never had to dress a wheel before. They've normally been quite good, so there's a bit of work to be done there. And here we have the body. Now I have done some fettling with this. I've gone around the window apertures, got rid of some excess die cast flash. I've also got rid of a nasty seam that was running up the back of the cab. Probably wouldn't be able to see it once the body's on, but it was there and I had to address it. But there are some other sort of casting marks that are on the front of the bonnet here and the wings. I don't know whether they're supposed to be there, whether they're representing the original, but I've decided to leave that alone and leave it as per original, as I didn't want to go cleaning it up too much. So yeah, it's turned out alright. I put this on a surface plate, put a square up against it, and this doesn't need tweaking. It's actually okay, so I'm happy with that. Right, so what I've used is a bit of 3/8 ply here. Now I've had to run it down through my bandsaw to remove one of the laminations, and that's because I wanted something to go inside here to create a packing piece so that I can work on getting rid of the bent area on this jib here. So what I've done is I've put it in place like so, and I've used a bit of aluminium stock here instead of a hammer, and I've just dressed it both sides, taken it off, eyed it up, tweaked it with a pair of pliers in places. It did have a twist on it which I've managed to get out, and all in all it's now looking okay actually. It's the best I can do anyway with the tools I've got here. So that's what I've used. I have actually put it onto the body here because that was another thing I wanted to do to make sure that it was straight, and I'm using the plank lines there to line up the jib, and that's sitting really well now. It's there's no twist in it and it's sitting central. There is a bit of a gap here, but this here was present, probably left the factory like that, and so yeah, I'm happy with the way that's turned out. I enjoyed that little bit of work. So where I was when I saw this on eBay, thinking to myself I'm gonna have to fabricate a new one up, I have managed to dress that, and it's looking good now. So that's it. So I'm gonna fettle those wheels next with a file, so I'll see you in a minute. Right, I'm just going to show you what I've actually done regarding making the crank up. Now I've used a bit of welding rod here again. This is 1.6, and this is what I've used to form the actual Z bend on the crank. Now what I was finding was that to actually insert this through the jib and to rivet over the end there, it would still be quite sloppy in there, and I wasn't too keen on that, so I decided to machine up a bush. And what I've used is a bit of 3mm rod. I've sent a 1.6mm drill down through there to create a bush. I've sort of made it over length, and I inserted it through the actual jib here, super glued it, and then I've got my cutting disc that I used earlier on my Dremel to then cut away the center part of the bush so that the actual shaft of the crank here will be exposed, so I can tie a bit of string to it. Now also what I've done is I've actually added this bit here on the actual handle. Again, it's all part of that bushing that's been just placed over there, and I've riveted or mushroomed over the end of the actual crank itself, and I've done the same that side as well. So now there's no sort of movement on it. There's a little bit of play side to side because it needs that, but there's no slop on it whatsoever. It's turning really, really lovely. I had to remove the center part of that bush because if I didn't, I would have nothing to sort of tie this string to. Now getting back to the string and the hook, I'm gonna have to try and find some sort of material to make a hook up. I also need to have a look to see what the original looked like, and that's gonna be my next project. So all in all, that's turned out all right. That putting a bush in there and creating a crank using a bit of welding rod. Job done. Right, just a quick update on this hook business. It suddenly dawned on me that I remember I had to purchase this, which was part of 5 earlier die casts that I bought off eBay. Now when I was buying this group of die casts, I was aware that this was a whiz wheels and it would never probably get restored. So it's been in a box for quite some time. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm not going to restore it, let's see if it's got a hook on it. And lo and behold, it did. So I've managed to find a hook to replace the original on this one. That saved me a lot of time, that fabricating one of those up. So I've been very lucky in having a bit of a moment, because I was rifling through me materials here and I was struggling to find something to actually make a hook with. So I fell on my feet there remembering this. So there we go. It's actually come in handy, that Land Rover, buying that. Right, let's talk about the wheels and the axles. Now the wheels were quite severely worn, so it's a case of removing the original axles, and those axles had a diameter of 1.94. so I went scrounging in my scrap box and I've come across some welding wire here, 2.36, 2.37. Looks like my battery's going. So that's what I'm going to use for the axles. Now obviously they wouldn't fit the wheels, so I've had to drill the wheels out, but I've used a 3/32 drill to put through there, and a 3/32 is 2.42, so it's giving that little bit of clearance for the wheels to spin on, like so. All I've done with this was clamped it into a vise on my bench and ran the hand drill down it. I did try setting up my bench drill and the camera, but it wasn't gonna happen. So unfortunately I haven't shown you any of the actual processes here of me drilling the wheels out. So that's the wheels sorted out. Now we've got the body here, which also had a pin through it, and that pin was a lot smaller than the axle. I think this is about 1.6, isn't it? Yeah. But what I've done again, I've ran the 3/32 drill down through the body, through the chassis, and again I can use the welding rod. I'll use that. There's a burr on the end of there, that's why it's not going through. So that goes through there and that goes through there, so I can use that, and it's just a case of mushrooming the ends over. Now that will be done just before the reassembly. So that's the situation with the wheels and the axles. Right, so let's get on and do some tab bending. So first I've got to put the chassis on, then I've got to place the jib on, and then the body then goes on afterwards with the pin going through it. So let's start with this. I think it's best if I put it on the right way, isn't it? That drops down there like so. Let's get the tabs lined up. I'm using the end of this. This is an old paintbrush handle that I use for me crocodile clips, and the tabs have gone through there okay, so it's a case of bending them over. There we go. Doesn't seem to be interfering with the axles. With those axles being a little bit larger in diameter, I expected that chassis to sort of rub on them, but they're running free, so that's nice. So that's that. So the next thing is this here, and I believe I've got to get the two back legs in first here before I do anything. I've obviously got the hook and the string to deal with, but I'm going to deal with that once it's assembled, I think. Build up a paint. Yeah, there it goes. Oh, I like that. Snapped in position. Look. Yeah, that's looking good. Right, now I need new pliers for these because they need to these, I believe I've got to twist. My pliers aren't right, I'm gonna have to come back I think because I need my small pliers. Right, I can't find my small pliers anywhere, and I'm having to use these. These are an old pair of side cutters I had, and they were butchered and knackered anyway, so I'll see if these will give it a twist. Yeah. That's alright. That's gone over. That's gone over. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use the pliers on it. Not the right tools to use. I'll give it a little bit more twist, I think. Right, let's stop that movement. Right, yeah, not prepared there, was I? Right, so next thing is that drops down there, and I need to put a pin through there. So I'm gonna get me bit of rod here. This is one of the three that I mushroomed over earlier. So what I'm going to do this off camera. I'm going to pass it through there, cut it to length, and then possibly I might be able to show you that being riveted over with a bit of luck if there's enough clearance there. So I'll be back in a minute. Right, so I passed that pin through there and I've cut it off, and I've actually flattened it with a file on the end there, so I've got a nice flat end to it. Fortunately, I think I'll be able to get away with using me drill here. So away we go. That's alright, that's not going to go anywhere. All that slop's gone. All that slop's gone now. Lovely. Oh, that's okay then, isn't it?